All right, everybody. Today, I want to talk about something kind of interesting and kind of fun. And I think it could help a lot of you guys out. Again, welcome back to the channel. It's my second video. So I hope you have a great time. Like and subscribe, all that bullshit. Okay? Anyways. Chasing the paper. Wait. Chasing the bag in tattooing. And why that shouldn't be your main drive, kick, your bag, your motivation. You know, that being said, I don't think you should sit around, you know, moping and crying, wishing you had something to come in. You should always be proactive in scheduling appointments as far out as you want to be. And if you're a walk-in artist, you should be regularly putting yourself out there, letting people know your availabilities, and bringing people in as often as possible. Personally, I like to book out 1 month in advance at a time. That being like today's January 1st. You're going to see this video in a couple days. January, I book for the entire month of February. Once those spots in February go away, I don't book anymore until February, where I book for March. And what that does, for me personally, and why I like it, it affords me the ability to schedule a trip, a guest spot, a convention, last minute. Last third minute. I like to stay ahead of that shit. But it gives my pre-existing clients first opportunity when I continue to book them throughout the year. And finally, on the first of the month, it gives everybody a fair shot and a fair chance at getting on the books. And they don't feel like they have to wait to get tattooed for 3 months. Because realistically, I know tattoos are a lot more kind of like, it's taken a little bit more seriously than they used to be. But they're still kind of an impulsive thing. You know what I mean? My mama used to tell me, if you really want something, sit on it for 30 days. And 30 days later, if you still like it, you still really want it, yeah, sure, go ahead and get it. For me, I like 30 days. I think it's plenty of time. That's what works for me. I know there's lots of artists who love booking out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months in advance, and that's totally fine. I personally, I want to have free time. I want to know that I can, you know, plan for a little trip with the family, you know, on a little bit shorter notice. I don't want to have to plan my whole year out in the first quarter. But that's just how I like to book. That's what works for me. It's really easy. But on the other side too, man, is that like, we're talking about like, you know, chasing the paper, fucking becoming Mr. Big Shot, charging as absolutely much as you fucking can for this fucking shit. What that could bring you into and what that can get you stuck in. I'm a working class tattooer and I charge working class prices, man. I have a half day rate and I do a full day rate. I think they're really fair. If you'd like to find out more about how much it costs to get tattooed by me, you can go to www.mrtattoocharlie.com and you can look at it from there, because maybe you'll see this video 5 years down the road, and let's be real, you're not seeing this video 5 years down the road. But charging up so extremely high to kind of give you this premium, you know, attitude. A, you better be really premium, or you better present yourself really premium. B, get ready to cast that net out really wide, because the reality is people are going to get 1 tattoo from you, maybe 2, and they're going to move on to the more affordable option if they're really into being tattooed. You know what I mean? Also, tattooing to only... there's a lot of people in this business who got into tattooing and were like, their first thought was, man, it'd be so cool to be able to draw on people, you know? I would love to put my art designs on, put them on people and have fun with it and explore this, whole world. Um, a lot of them are like, yo, I heard tattooers make a lot of money. Wow, I'm gonna get in on that. I gotta get that fucking bag, baby. And I'm not gonna stereotype, but they all do the same kind of work. Typically, I don't ever see them doing any weird, wild, and wonky stuff, which is my personal favorite kind of stuff. So I'm glad, they're always going right down the middle. It's always realism, and I'm talking about the ones that got a pure blood passion for it. You guys, realism is your bag. That's your thing. You're a black and gray realistic guy, and you got the love and the passion for the game. Thank you. I'm glad you're here with us. But usually, the people who want to charge premium only, it's only about making $6-7 grand a week or whatever. You gotta be able to afford a Ferrari, kind of shit. It's they're doing. It's just so boring. It's just I don't personally like it. It's not for me. I think there's so many great tattoo artists out there that really love doing that kind of stuff, that will charge you a fair price for it. And I think at the end of the day, getting tattooed by somebody who really has a passion for it is just a far better experience than trying to go at somebody who is only in it for the financial reasons for it, That being said, I hope maybe they develop a love for it, It'd be kind of cool. But I don't know. Again, as a shop owner, I want my guys to do well. I want them to make a lot of money. I want them to do well. I want them to be able to know that their bills are paid for the next few months. I want them to be comfortable where they're at so they can live comfortable lives as human beings. But also, that doesn't mean that they need to knock a client in the head for a tattoo this big for $800. You know what I mean? It's not fair. It's not right. And it only serves as an artist to give you the reputation of being a person who charges a lot. And if you charge a lot, you better not fuck it up, and you better hope like hell they don't fuck it up. Because when you charge $800 for a tattoo the size of like that big, it better be fucking flawless, and they better take care of it perfectly, because if it comes out a little bit healed up bad or fucked up, it's your fault. I know it's not your fault if they messed it up, but it's your fault if they messed it up. They're going to show that tattoo. They're going to go, well, look at my $800 tattoo I got. You know how much you paid for this thing? I can't believe it. It's got holes in it, It's all wonky and wiggly looking, That doesn't mean that you have an excuse as an artist maybe charging more fair prices or, whatever, to do a poor job too. But I would feel that if someone paid a working class wage for a working class tattoo, that they'd reach out to you and go, hey, maybe I messed it up. I don't know. I need to get a little touch up. And, I personally, I do touch ups. I don't ask questions. I think maybe there's been on like one hand. Maybe I can count on one hand in 20 years. The times I've been like, you obviously destroyed that. I need to charge you for this. You know what I mean? Not saying that every single touch-up is my fault. It's not. So it is user error, I would say, more than half of the time. You know what I mean? When there is a case of a touch-up. Usually, sometimes they don't even need touch-ups. They just want to come in and get the freaking, tattoo relined, or like a little spot relined because they feel like it's a little bit lighter. I don't know. I don't ask questions. I just go, yeah, sure, I'll do it, and I'll start talking to them about your next tattoo. That's what I see it as. it's a great opportunity to talk to people about their future work that they want to get done. And then as we move into that, touching up, charging for touch-ups, like within the certain time period window, like maybe 6 months to a year. I think 6 months is maybe the standard now, at least it is around here. I see a lot of these like tiny tat shops, these like, learn from PMU people shops, charging for touch-ups. And I think that's absolutely fucking ridiculous. As a professional, charging as much as you are, you should offer and set limitations on the touch-up that you're going to get. Hey, touch-up is 6 months. Message me. I'll schedule you a time. I'll get you in between appointments. And it should only take about 20 minutes. And doing them for free, one complimentary one, it should be standard procedure, standard protocol. I think there is a very rare occasion where you should have to charge for the touch-up. And that's where maybe that person totally messed up that tattoo, and expect you to come in and get it all fixed up and cleaned up. At that point, it's becoming a rework. But again, those are very rare, and I think anybody can judge those. But charging the shop minimum, charging $50 for touch-ups, that's such a bad move. If you're that worried about it, charge a little bit extra in high friction, high damage areas like sides of fingers or lips or palms of hands. Instead of the minimum being, whatever, it's 20% on top of the minimum. That's a way you can solve that, and then be like, hey, this is in a spot that is messed up. It likes to fall out all the time. It is a problematic area. I'm going to charge you this much, but you're going to come and see me in a month and a half and get it touched up. Now, sometimes maybe they don't need to get it touched up. Awesome. That means you did a fucking great job and you have experience doing that. But what I think with charging so damn much, making the rent too damn high, is that it should be for the love of the game, man. You should love to do this. And that doesn't mean you should do it for free. You have to feed your family and take care of yourself. But don't make the whole thing about you just kind of running around trying to catch all the money. I, especially when I was early in ownership, I had somebody work here, and he kind of put that paper chasing kind of thing in my head, and kind of freaked me out. And I went really hard into it for a while, and I just didn't like how I came out on the other end, man. I would much rather charge a little bit less and have a great experience and spend the extra 30 minutes with that person, and create a warm and welcoming environment than making this thing purely transactional. I think there's so much fun to be had in our little clubhouse that we work in, that, the expense really cheapens the experience, and that doesn't mean you should do your tattoos for $20 damn. You should stand on your price and stand on it proudly. But, you shouldn't make it so unbelievably high. Now what's too high maybe? Let's start with what's too low. I think a minimum below $60 in this day and age is entirely too low. I think a shop minimum at $60 is pushing it. And I think there might be some areas in the country where a $60 minimum can help you get through it, but I don't think you're doing the kind of work that you feel like you want to be doing. And I'll let you know that it's easier to do one $100 tattoo and take that a little bit extra time than setting up for two $60 tattoos. And if you're going in there, and that's another way, that's another form of paper chasing I've noticed too, is that you'll get these people, they'll run a month-long, 2-month-long, 10-year-long fucking permanent $40, $60 tattoo special. And it's a bunch of printed out outlines of shit they found on, the computer. And they're like, it's $60 outline only. You know, $20 extra if you want shading, you know? What the fuck? What are you doing? You know? You can just charge $100, make that design just a little bit bigger, and spend some time with it and scratch your artistic elbow about it. The last thing I want to do is set up 15 fucking times to make $900 in the case of a $60 tattoo. And all you're gonna do with that kind of paper chasing is run yourself fucking ragged and fill up the trash can full of plastic. And ain't nobody loving that. And then you're gonna spend all day feeling like you're a fucking factory worker, man. I didn't get into tattooing to press a button on a conveyor belt, man. I wanted to draw a picture. So now what's too high? What's too much? What's too much for the price of tattooing? I would say, and this is me being pretty gracious, you know, I think for most cases, anything higher than $2,000 for an 8-hour session, I think you're really pushing it. I think you're pushing it pretty well and close there. What would $2,000 for 8 hours be? A little over, like about $225 an hour, and I think that's really high end premium artist kind of stuff. I think 2,000 is like right on the line. Now that doesn't account for living in, you know, New York City, you know, in LA, you know. I'm in Augusta, Georgia, so you know that should tell you a lot about the financial caps that are around on my end. I personally, I do $1,100 6 hours currently, and I do $600 for 3 hours. And you get a lot of work done. We take our time with it, and we, you know, do the best we can with it. I like to try to stay right down the middle. But yeah, that being said, I think trying to get and push, you know, $3,000-$4,000 day sessions, you know, if you're willing to pay for it, it's worth it. At the end of the day, and that's the funny thing about it too, is that the higher the price gets, the higher expectation is required, and the more you're able to go, I could see that. I hope it's worth it. I hope it's worth it. When you go lower, that's where those big problems go. I think the average person getting tattooed is hoping to spend anywhere between $100 to $600 on a tattoo for a few hours. You get what I'm saying? I think that's what the average person is looking to get tattooed. I think the average person is looking to get a tattoo about that big, you know, about palm size, maybe a little bit smaller, not typically any bigger. Sometimes, you know, very common, you know, maybe shoulder to elbow, quarter sleeve kind of thing. And I think for that window, for that average tattoo experience, I think an average good price for that is going to be about $1 to $120 to $600 to $800, you know. Now on the top end, obviously more, but I know. And people ask us all the time, oh my God, Charlie, like, why don't you guys know how much a fucking tattoo costs? And it's like, it's because it's impossible really to kind of like discern it. You know what I mean? I could do a Sailor Jerry tattoo this big in, you know, 45 minutes, you know what I mean? But I can do the same tattoo this big, Celtic knotwork. It's going to take me 4 hours, and I just can't tell you. Sometimes I like to break things down into half days and full day rates and focus on that, and give you an extra 30 minutes if need be. Then, you know, try to figure it out, honestly. But, you know, tattooing, to get back on point, ain't about the flashiest shoes, the coolest necklace, and you know, the fastest sports car. You know, it's about doing a great job, serving your community, enjoying the camaraderie that comes with doing good within that community and expressing yourself as an artist, you know? And I think that should be the main focus. You shouldn't just come at this totally soullessly. Like, you should really aim to pick up that pencil, you know, and create something to a degree. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much more worth it. You go home at the end of the day feeling so much better about yourself, knowing that you tried your damnedest and you made something, and you left something original out there. You know, you made something that nobody else seen before. That's kind of the goal. That is for me. You know, if I'm tattooing a snake, I want to do it a little bit different. You know, if I'm tattooing a snake flash off the wall, I want to do it just a little bit different. You know, I want to put it through my lens, and I want to have my fun with it. I think that process and that attitude about it is invaluable. That is the most expensive thing, and it doesn't cost nothing. You know, I can still feed my kids, and I get to draw a weird wonky snake. Anyways, did that work? I don't know. This is my next video. So anyways, thanks to all the people who watched my last video. That was cool. I was expecting like 5 views on that, but it's doing pretty okay. So leave a comment about something. I don't know. Just say hi, chip in, whatever. Anyways, Tattoo Charlie. Bye.